Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Teagarden, and I'm joined by my charming co-star,
Evan Roderick, and we are so excited for you guys to see our new movie, Autumn in the City, part of Fall into Love.
So we have a couple of questions that Hallmark Channel sent our way that we'll be answering today. So let's get started. The first question is, our movie is called Autumn in the City, and there's truly nothing like it. What comes to mind for each of us when we think about fall in Manhattan?
What do you think, Amy? I think the coffee shops in Manhattan, I feel like, are just second to none. You know? What about you?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think like fall in Manhattan to me feels like just a city full of like beautiful coats and coziness and Central Park. I think this sort of it's the seasonal change, right? Especially from the heat of the summer. And New York is truly a city that is magical in its own way that no other city really touches, especially in the fall. It's gorgeous.
Cool, let's move on. I love that. Okay, Amy, Austin and Piper both have parents that want to see them happy and in stable careers. How does meeting one another help them find the courage to forge their own paths?
So how Piper and Austin come together and sort of create this sort of support system where they identify in each other that they're both longing to take on these careers that have meaning to themselves. And I think they both support each other and push each other to take a leap into scary territory that's a bit uncharted for both of them. But I think with both of them leaning on each other, they're able to move forward in their life and go after their true passions.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's like that optimistic versus pessimistic kind of view. It's like kind of opposing forces, yin and yang. That kind of, I don't know. It's just like they're kind of perfect for each other in that way. Just the opposites attract kind of thing. The classic opposites attract. Yeah.
I think that's definitely the yin and yang, the sort of two I don't know forces kind of coming together.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Keystone Cafe is a sanctuary for both Piper and Austin, and not just for their delicious pumpkin bread. How do the owners, Will and Toby, help our two characters connect?
Interesting. I just if it's how it's like they kind of trick us into going on dates. I think because they're the only ones early in the story that can see that we kind of that we might be good for each other. So I think they trick us really into falling in love, and we totally don't even see it coming.
I think there's an element of that. I think also the Keystone Cafe and Will and Toby in the story are just such for me, like reading it, it feels like they're kind of the heart of the story. They've created this space, and I think they have a line somewhere in the movie that talks about sort of like it's sort of a refuge for all the newbies to New York, because it's such a melting pot of different people from different places. And they created it sort of as a safe space for people to connect, and to kind of just like take a moment to kind of reset. And I think that between the two of them, with Piper and Austin and the families that they come from and the expectations they come in with, Will and Toby are just such loving people and show such a warm, welcoming presence that I think that it allows the two of them, with Piper and Austin, to kind of grow and feel grounded and supported in their journey.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Okay, question 4. Are we ready? Piper is ready to try her hand at any job to find her passion, from a runaway show to a museum guide. What was an interesting job that we've each had along the way? What did you do? What's the craziest job you've ever
had? The craziest job I've ever had. So outside of, I've been working in the entertainment industry for a few years,
for a hot minute,
just for a hot second. But it was in between a season of in between seasons of a TV show, Friday Night Lights I was working on. I had moved back home to LA, and one of my friends was getting a job working at Hollister selling t-shirts and clothing. And I'm a big believer in everybody having an opportunity to spend at least a month in food service and a month working retail to understand how trying these jobs can be, and a different appreciation. And I also just, for my craft and my job, is to come up with characters and layers and real life experience. I think is the thing that kind of adds another level to my job, and being able to actually have that real life experience gives me such a wider view of characters and storytelling. And so I worked for in between 2 seasons of Friday Night Lights, selling t-shirts and flip-flops and Cali jeans. And in the entire time, there was one person who came in and was like, "Oh, you look like that girl from that like football show." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's me." She's like, "No, it's not." I was like, "Yeah, it's me." And she's like, "No, it's not." I'm like, "You're right. It's not. Thank you." It was it was an experience and funny, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have some real life experience, and that I was able to have the time to do it.
Wow, that's
What
awesome.
about you, Evan? What kind of fun, crazy jobs have you had?
I had so many weird jobs. I'm trying to think, because I served. I was a waiter for I want to say 3 or 4 years before I started acting. Well, actually, no. In the beginning of my career, I was serving as well, and I was such a disorganized server. Like I was such a bad waiter. Like it's just because you need to be so good at multitasking to be good in a restaurant, and I'm horrible at multitasking. So I was pretty bad at that. That was one. What else did I do? I worked a construction job when I was 18 for like a month one summer. I wasn't very good at that either. And then my favorite job though, but it was dealing with kids. I was a summer camp counselor when I was 16. That was probably my favorite one. I really liked doing that.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So we're at question 5. Austin, as a longtime New Yorker, has become unaware of the magic of the city, but starts to see it again through Piper's eyes and her incredible illustrations. Mm-hmm. Without giving any spoilers, do each have a favorite scene we can't wait for the viewers to see?
I think, oh God, it's hard because you give stuff away. I love the hot dog stand scene. Do you remember shooting that?
Oh, such a mess. Such a mess.
The vegan hot dog scene.
The vegan hot dog scene, yeah.
The vegan hot dog scene. But I remember we couldn't stop laughing that night. I was like, it was one of those late nights, and like really late nights. I think it was like 2 a.m. or something. And we were just tired and giddy, and we just couldn't. Do you remember that? We couldn't stop laughing.
Oh, absolutely ridiculous. Yeah,
I think that was my favorite scene to shoot. I don't even know if I answered the question there. That's just kind of where I went.
I think you did. That was my favorite. That was pretty great. And you did, yeah. I mean, the amount of resets we had to do on a certain type of food product that ends up falling over in the scene. I mean, our props department was so on top of it because it was a long night. Favorite scene I had. Oh gosh, there's so many. There's a really beautiful scene where me as a person really enjoyed the magic of New York City that we shot across the bridge in Brooklyn, looking into Manhattan, where it was just like, you can, like, I don't know, it's like personally I could just feel the magic of the city and the lights and the energy. But there was also a scene, without giving too much away, where my character ends up on a stage doing a Broadway rendition thing where she's so unprepared for and is kind of in a moment thinking, how did I end up here? But you know what? I've got one life to live and I'm just going to, do my best. And there's something that as an actor, it's one thing to be very proficient at something that you have no business doing, whether it's playing guitar or I don't know, cooking or something that you are, you know, kind of preparing for. This one is a situation where, as an actor, you have to, you know, be able to perform at a high level in a certain field, where this one is like, my character is doing such a terrible job at it. So I feel like it was a really fine line of trying to figure out how to not just be bad at something, but like really be gloriously bad at it. And it was fun. I mean, at least I think the crew at least got a good laugh out of it, and the editor must have had a ball just seeing the ridiculous things that my character did. But I'm excited to see that, and hopefully the viewers will appreciate it.
Awesome. Okay. I love it. Where are we at? Question 6, my question. Okay. There's so much to love about New York in the fall. Piper and Austin take it all in, from people watching at Washington Square Park, a picnic in Central Park, to the iconic Brooklyn Bridge. Can we share our favorite things about the city?
Oh, favorite things about the city. I love the people watching. I mean, growing up in LA, it's such a car culture here that you don't, you know, the idea you don't really walk in LA unless it's just right in your neighborhood. And the thing I really love about New York and Manhattan is just the fact that everybody from every background and job and lifestyle is there, and you're just kind of all in this big, you know, mess of people going to and fro and on the subways and walking around, and you never know what you're gonna find, you know, on the next block. And you can, you know, find the most amazing random, you know, bagel shop, or like art exhibition, or beautiful, I don't know, storytelling experience or gallery, which is what I love about New York so much. What about you, Austin?
Well, that's tough, because that was my first time in New York shooting there. You know, that was my first time in New York. So for me, I was like, it was such sensory overload for me. Like, driving from the airport to the hotel, it was the first time I'd ever been in a city and just been like utterly shocked with its gravitas. Like, so much energy. And keep in mind, I think I landed at like, I want to say 10:30 p.m. on a Saturday. So it was so many people going out, dinners, whatever, and just on the streets and eating and talking and laughing. I was just like shocked sitting in this cab. So it's hard. If I had to pick one thing about New York that I love the most, I just think it's the level of the opportunities that you have anywhere. If you walk anywhere, we were staying in the West Village or Greenwich kind of area, and walking anywhere is incredible. Anywhere.
Yeah, it's a great city. Okay, so question 7. Piper and Austin unknowingly encourage each other to take brave chances in pursuit of their dreams. What other qualities do we like most about each of our characters?
It's kind of like what I said earlier. I think Piper, she's just, her unrelenting kind of optimism and just knowing that things are going to work out, I think is her, and courage. Yeah, like, she's so courageous. And for Austin, it's tougher with him because it's the character I played, so I can't really say too many good things about him. But what is my favorite quality? I just think in the face of doubt and fear, and I guess having the oppressive parent, still deciding to do what he loves.
Yeah. I think for me, I think with Austin, I think it's his imagination, and his ability to put thoughts and feelings into stories and words, and the demographic that he's targeting of making children's books and sort of empowering kids to feel things and to see things. And I think, I don't know, I thought the book was really cute. That might be giving too much away. I'm going to stop myself. And then with Piper, I think for me, what I admire most about her is her ability to just go for it. She has this, you know, inner confidence and knowing, and just you know, she's at a point in her life where she's about to turn 30 and realizes that she's been living her life not on her terms or for herself, but for what other people think she should be doing and her parents' expectations, and has this aha moment where she, you know, takes a bold step and decides that she's going to figure out what her true passion in life is and just goes for it. And while she ends up in some, you know, wacky situations, her ability and her spunk to just bounce back and keep going is something that I find very charming and lovely and empowering.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta love Piper. Gotta love Piper.
Gotta love her. Gotta love her.
Okay. Where are we at? Okay. Austin and Piper have fun exploring farmers markets and rooftop views. Can we share any fun behind the scenes stories?
Oh, fun behind the scenes stories.
Tough one. There's so many.
There's so many. There's the sprinkler incident. That was pretty fun.
Oh, right. Oh, I forgot about
that. In the middle of one of the last scenes of the day, we were shooting a walk and talk with the two of us, and we were shooting at a university, and the sprinklers start going off. Like, and for me, I think, you know, from the background, I've worked on a lot of like indies and sort of guerrilla style shooting things. And so I just like take off in my costume with all my props, like trying to like cover camera cases and like lenses and like props and things like that, just because, you know, with water damage on those things, it's really kind of can be devastating. And it took a while, but they, they finally figured out the sprinkler situation. But it was a good 5 minutes of the sprinklers going off. Like we had this, you know, I don't know, 40-foot dolly track. We had 2 cameras. We had background talent. It was a bit of a mess, but we pulled through.
I think you single-handedly saved thousands of dollars.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And wardrobe was so choked at you too, because this is literally the last scene of the day. And if Amy gets her clothes soaked, we're going to be there and run out of time. Like, we're going overtime. So props to you, Amy, for saving the day.
You know, I do what I can.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of my favorite, or I don't know, fun behind the scenes. I always go back to that hot dog scene. I thought that was so, I don't know, it's just one of those really fun scenes for me where Michael, our director, was like trying to make sure that we spilt. I don't know if I'm giving away too much here. Am I giving too much away? Where we had to do several takes of spilling a hot dog, and I couldn't get it like 4 or 5 times in a row. So Amy just eventually was like the one to take the hot dog and spill it. We had to do that like 20 times, and I don't know. That scene was that was one of the good nights for me. One of those really fun scenes to shoot.
I think also, a fun behind the scenes, it had been your first time in New York, and you were lovely and trusting enough to let me drag you to Times Square at midnight. We had dinner, and then we're like, okay, we're going to go to work. And I was like, okay, we need to get on the subway. We're getting on the subway. You're like, I don't know. And I'm like, please just trust me. And you allowed me to drag you to Times Square, because there's this thing called the Midnight Moment. And I was like, I've never seen it. You've never been there. You have to experience it. And you're like, I don't know. And I'm like, no, we're going. And we went, and just to be able to see your face light up, because Times Square is like this weird magical place. You can't really I can't articulate it properly, but it's just like all these people from so many different places, and, you know, music and lights and things. And then this thing called the Midnight Moment, where every night at like 11:57 until midnight, they, on all the screens in Times Square, they have one picture, one type of art that they've chosen for that night, and they display it all through Times Square. And it's pretty magical. It's a pretty magical thing.
So cool. That was actually, Amy, thank you for dragging me to that, because I wasn't going to go. I just was not going to go. I was, no, it's midnight. I don't go anywhere. You're like, you're getting on the subway. You're getting on the subway.
So I appreciate you being, you know, playing along and indulging my midnight moment in Times Square.
That was really fun. Wow, I think that's it. Questions.
Yeah. So to wrap up our live chat, we have a rapid fire game of this or that inspired by Autumn in the City and Fall into Love. Okay, we each can answer the following questions of this or that. Are you ready?
I'm so ready. Okay. Shoot.
Okay. Pumpkin bread or maple glazed donuts?
Donuts.
Ooh.
You?
Pumpkin bread. It was really good on the show. I ate a lot of it. Pumpkin spice latte or hot apple cider?
Cider. You?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with the latte.
Okay.
To visit or live in a city?
Live, for sure.
Live.
That way you can actually check out all the spots and have like be a regular at some of those places. Visiting, sometimes you like just don't get quite enough of, I don't know, you just don't get quite enough time in the city. You know?
Yes,
what about you?
Completely. I definitely think, yeah, live in a city. I'm definitely more of a city girl.
For sure.
A snack cart hot dog or pretzels?
Hot dog.
Oh, I see. I'm all about the big old New York pretzels that are like the size of your face that you just, yeah, eat on the go. Okay. Admire the fall leaves walking through a park or strolling down the street?
Street. You?
It depends on if we're talking like if it's like in a park, like Central Park in the fall is absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna say park. I'm gonna say Central Park.
Okay.
To spend an afternoon writing or drawing?
Oh, that's tough. Writing, because then you can get your thoughts out and you can put it all out in front of you, read it back, and then you're like, okay, that's out. But then again, I can say that about illustrating too. What about you?
Yeah. I feel like for me, probably drawing. Like I think colors and shapes are something that I find very, I don't know, a way to decompress in a way that putting words to paper is, I don't know, it's more, I don't know, it's a different type of part of my brain that I feel like I would have to use. And sometimes, I don't know, drawing is just sort of anything that pops up.
So that's so of you.
So Piper. I'm gonna get a little pin. It says like that's so Piper.
I'm gonna get t-shirts.
Yeah, right. Okay. Enjoying an evening curled up with a book or watching a movie?
Movie for sure. Has to be. You? Come on.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, I would love,
Right?
I mean, I love reading and I love like a good book. I mean, you get into that like really good book and you can't put it down. There's nothing like it, but I definitely am more of a movie watcher or limited series watcher. Yeah.
We're film folk.
Nice. So, okay, so that is the end of this or that. Thank you for playing us, Evan. I almost said Austin. There we go.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
I mean, you called me Austin for 3 weeks, so a month.
I think I'm gonna get you a pin that says that's so Austin. Please, the one that's Piper, you do an Austin.
Please, that would be nice.
Okay, so I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and we can't wait for you to watch the premiere of our new movie, Autumn in the City.
Tune in on Saturday, October 15th, 8/7 Central, only on the Hallmark Channel.
And you can tweet along with us this Saturday while you watch using #AutumnInTheCity.